Hello, dear viewers. Welcome to this edition of the News in English with me, Serge Nori. As always, we'll begin with the headlines. Rwanda is set to host the 26th annual general meeting of police chiefs from Eastern African countries that are members of the Eastern Africa Police Chiefs Cooperation Organization. And on the international scene, President Donald Trump has declared that a national emergency exists at the United States southern border, and he is sending more troops to help secure it.
Strong message.
Now the details. Thank you again for taking the time to join us. Officials working in law enforcement agencies from countries within the Eastern Africa Police Chiefs Cooperation Organization, or REAPCO, are currently attending a two-day meeting here in Kigali. They emphasize that sharing experiences on gender-based violence and violence against children enhances their ability to combat such crimes in their respective countries. This meeting, taking place at the Rwanda National Police Headquarters in Kacyiru, is a precursor to a larger conference starting on Monday, which will bring together police chiefs from REAPCO member states. The Secretary General of the Rwanda Investigation Bureau, retired Colonel Jano Ruhunga, has stressed that law enforcement officers play a critical role in addressing gender-based violence and crimes against children. And participants in the meeting include police officers, investigators, prison wardens, judges, and others involved in the enforcement of the law within the REAPCO framework. Law enforcement officials from other countries have also expressed that they are gaining valuable insights from Rwanda's experiences. Since 2016, a specialized center focused on addressing gender-based violence and child abuse has been operational at the Rwanda National Police Headquarters in Kacyiru. Fighting gender-based violence and violence against children is one of the key objectives of REAPCO. Now, as we noted in the headlines, Rwanda is set to host the 26th annual general meeting of police chiefs from Eastern African countries that are members of the Eastern Africa Police Chiefs Cooperation Organization. The meeting will begin on Monday and is bringing together various stakeholders connected to law enforcement. Speaking to the press on Saturday, the CEO of REAPCO, who is also the head of Interpol's Eastern Africa Regional Bureau, that is Africa, Apollo, highlighted the organization's progress, noting that its achievements are evaluated annually during such meetings.
The meeting will start on Monday, the 27th, and will end on Friday, the 31st of January 2025. It will start with the Permanent Coordinating Committee, which is composed of chiefs of criminal investigation departments from all member countries. We have subcommittees that feed the Permanent Coordinating Committee. There are 5 subcommittees. The subcommittee of training, the subcommittee of cyber crime, the subcommittee of gender concerned with gender-based violence, and the subcommittee of cyber crime. So we are so happy that Rwanda organized also a side event of a SWAT challenge, or special weapons assault teams that came from member countries that were invited to participate. It will be conducted on the 30th in Bugesera, and it will be also attended by chiefs of police in order to appreciate the readiness of counterterrorism tactical groups or teams, and how they can work together in case there is a necessity to intervene in one of the member countries to respond to terror attacks of kidnapping or active shooting or any other terror activity. So we hope that the media will help in making sure that the public knows that through their law enforcement organs in this region, they can be safe, and they can partner with their law enforcement agencies to share information about criminality, and also participate to make sure that the law enforcement agencies, including police organizations, are effective in delivering their mandates. So within the meeting, we also have partners like Interpol, that provides us with a secure communication system of I-24/7 used on entry and exit points in member countries, and other partners that support us in capacity building and provision of resources, of which all of them will be in these meetings. We have also invited chiefs of similar regional law enforcement organs from Southern Africa, from Central Africa, and from Western Africa in order to come and share with us the practices in their regions, but also possibly borrow from us. And we also hope that we will be working together with those regions from our region, since criminals also cross borders without even taking into consideration legal arrangements.
The APCO meeting will be preceded by a meeting of investigators, as noted by the Chief Executive Officer within the organization, and conclude with a session of ministers responsible for security. This will be the third time Rwanda has hosted the conference. APCO was established in 1998 and consists of 14 member countries. Those are Rwanda, Burundi, Kenya, the Comoros, the DRC, Djibouti, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Seychelles, Somalia, South Sudan, Uganda, Sudan, and Tanzania. Again, as noted by the CEO, among the activities planned during the meetings, a Special Forces Police competition focused on counterterrorism, which will be held in Bugesera district, that's in the eastern province of Rwanda. Now, as the country prepares to celebrate the 31st Heroes Day, the youth born after the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi are showing that their contribution to the country should be working for it and advancing it through their own efforts. We have the details with Enola Gladys Wenimana.
We found some of the youth training for traditional dances. Among the aspects they focus on during these dances is the heroism exhibited by those who sacrificed for the country during different times in history.
We, as traditional dancers, the battle we were engaged in is to celebrate the heroes who came before us. We are also here to teach those who come after us, especially the younger generations, about our values and love for the country with passion. Because when you embrace these three things, you are on the path to being courageous.
Apart from the youth traditional dancers, some are involved in art and crafts, reinforcing the importance of their role in developing the country. King Ngabo is one of the youth engaged in art.
You know, many people don't know about how our economics was under zero when the genocide ended in 1994. Our parents had no shoes, no clothes, no cars, no payment, no salaries. They just work to make this country where it is. We had no infrastructures. If you ask, they had no money in reserve. We had more than 3,000 orphans, so no roads, nothing at all. We had nothing. Even not only to say in things which is tangible, even if in our own heart we had nothing. We were just there living, how can I say, no trust among the people, no reconciliation, but we started from zero. So this creation showed up how Rwanda passed through all the struggle, passed through all the tragedy, passed through all the things that should just put our countries down to create a new Rwanda, Rwanda of hope, Rwanda of dream, Rwanda for the next generation, Rwanda for me and Rwanda for you. So that's my creation.
Our country before anything else. This is a motto many youth use in their daily work, remembering that they should contribute to the development of their country, honoring the heroism of those who came before them, providing them with a peaceful nation.
Contribution for the youth today on the development of Rwanda, and not only development, but even to its sovereignty. First of all, in our career, we have to put Rwanda first. So you don't have to separate you and yourself with Rwanda. We are Rwandese, and we have to feel it. So to me, I think the contribution to us today is to put our step in the footsteps of our forefathers, and again to really understand the ideology, why they fight, why they gave us a beautiful country like this, why they let us live peacefully, why, and then that's why it helps us to understand how we can also do how we can just secure a better future for our children, and then our children with the same spirit will know how to secure a beautiful country for their children, and then Rwanda will be a nation which is more respectful worldwide.
Ntago tugomba kwicara ngo twumve twagezeyo, hari ibyo twagezeho yego, ariko ntibigomba gusenyuka cyangwa guhagarara.
We must recognize how much progress we have made. There are things we have achieved, but they should not collapse. We must work with all our strength, using all our resources to reach their level, because we are still young, but we can do it. And we have people who support us. They often speak to us, telling us that we are in a country that supports us in order to advance. Therefore, this is our time to work hard, whether in what we have studied or in businesses. And we must all work with the goal of developing our country. Elderly individuals observing the youth's activities, which are deeply rooted in Rwanda's history, express optimism that these histories will never fade. They also emphasize how the youth acknowledge the legacy of heroism they have inherited and understand their duty to work for the advancement of the country. We immediately understand that preserving heroism and remembering how this heroism has manifested over time is important. So how can they achieve it? I believe they already understand the value of heroism, and they will strive to be brave in everything they do, including their work. Everyone must strive to be courageous in their field of work, because heroism is about facing challenges, and in everything you do in your assigned tasks, you must be a hero. The National Heroism Mausoleum encourages the youth to aspire to embody the culture of heroism and appropriate behavior, while also contributing practically to working for the development of the country. Enora Gladys, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Enola. Now, individuals in the transportation and logistics industry here in Rwanda will soon be required to obtain an internationally recognized certificate to enhance professionalism. The Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, a professional body representing transport and logistic industries worldwide, will be issuing the certificate. William Evans Mutabazi with more on that.
These reforms aim to improve standards within the transport and logistics industry and boost confidence among investors and traders collaborating across borders. Our hope is that we can offer services on an international standard so that companies that will be coming here do not have to worry about getting their labor force fit for the job.
Batarinze bajya kuzana leba yo hanze ihenze kandi itanaturusha byinshi.
Chief Tete, the international president of the Chartered Institute of Transport and Logistics, says that the group believes in capacity building, and this school will provide more opportunities for students in Rwanda.
That is what we believe in. We believe in empowering the community in whichever country we go. We don't go there to just go there for fun, but we build capacity, and that is what we intend to do here in Rwanda, and it's been very successful.
Some of the students who have already enrolled in this program say that they are gaining more knowledge and also adding value to their careers.
Since it is an international institute under logistics and supply chain management plus transport, so I felt that once I'm being a member of the CLT Rwanda and CLT International at large would be an added value to the matter and evidence I have in the sector.
Yeah, the reason why I still came here, even though I was working in the logistics industry, I wanted to gain more knowledge and to make it a professionalism in my work.
Rwanda's new development policy aims to enhance infrastructure by 2034 through collaboration with neighboring countries. Key plans include building social roads for the north and central routes, as well as developing a railway system to improve freight and passenger transportation in the region. William Evans, Mutabazi, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, William. Now, the residents of Kaburasel, located in Kabarondo sector, Kayonza district of the Eastern Province, have vowed never to allow the resurgence of illicit homemade alcohol, which used to cause constant conflicts and hinder development in the area. Kabura, a small trading center, was once notorious for producing illegal brews such as kanyanga and other illicit substances alongside drug use. A collaborative effort between local leaders and residents has been instrumental in combating these illegal brews, with stricter penalties being imposed. The residents affirm that since the elimination of homemade alcohol, they have enjoyed peace as the violence it caused has now ceased. Interestingly, some of those who were previously punished for producing the brews are now actively advocating for others to abandon the practice. Kayonza's mayor has highlighted that the partnership between leaders and residents in eradicating illicit brews in Kabura could serve as a model for other areas still facing similar challenges. Eliminating homemade alcohol was one of Kabura's goals for 2024, and the residents are proud to have achieved it by the end of the year as planned. They are committed to reporting anyone who attempts to resume brewing, consuming, or selling the illegal drinks. Now, in Rutsiro district, that's in the Western Province, families that received cows through the Jirinha program are expressing gratitude for how the initiative has transformed their lives and are now committed to partnering with the district to fight malnutrition among their neighbors who are still affected by it. Under the Jirinha program, recipients are required to pass on the benefit by giving a calf to another family. Families in several sectors of the district who received such calves have committed to doing everything possible to ensure that the cows bring about meaningful changes in their lives. The leadership of Rutsiro district emphasizes that the program's goal is to lift recipients out of poverty while also addressing challenges such as stunting, which remains an issue in the district. Since the program's inception in 2006, a total of 19,175 cows have been distributed to residents in Rutsiro, including those given through the redistribution process known as Kwitura. Of these, 11,225 cows were distributed to others under the program. Welcome back, and now a look at international news. Now that Bashar al-Assad's rule in Syria has ended, family members and hostage aid groups are taking the search for missing journalist Austin Tice to Damascus, checking abandoned prisons for signs of the American. VOA has the details.
Armed with flashlights and cameras, members of Hostage Aid Worldwide search this former detention center in the Syrian capital of Damascus. They are looking for signs of Austin Tice, an American journalist taken captive at a checkpoint in 2012.
This usually it's used as a group prison. It will have almost probably 100 persons. When it's crowded, we want to look at the walls to see if there is any writing in English or anything, to see if we had any foreigners in this section.
Saka says he doesn't understand how people survived.
It's really too bad.
In one abandoned facility, the team found graffiti the Tice family believes had been left by Austin. Worldwide later took his mother, Deborah Tice, to view the markings. Since the fall of President Bashar al-Assad's government in early December, Hostage Aid Worldwide has searched buildings across Damascus for Tice and others believed to be held in Syria. The search for Austin Tice has intensified. Just before the regime collapse, the Tice family announced they had verified evidence that Austin had been held in Damascus. Roger Carstens, the Biden administration's special envoy for hostage affairs, traveled to Damascus in late December with other U.S. officials. He spoke with U.S. media last month about the government's commitment to finding the journalists.
We have to help or rather work with our interim authorities officials to make sure that we do a good search so that I can one day look Deborah Tice in the eyes and tell them that our search has been exhaustive.
Disappointed by the lack of U.S. progress, Deborah Tice returned to Syria this week to look for her son.
But the most important thing is, right now, at this moment, where is my son? who is holding my son. It doesn't really matter where he was in 2018 or 2012. It doesn't matter.
Deborah Tice has confidence in the Donald Trump administration to help bring her son home.
His people have already reached out to me. I hadn't experienced that for the last 4 years. And so I'm very much looking forward to their help.
President Trump has nominated Middle East expert Adam Bowler to be his special envoy for hostage affairs and to work with families like the Tices. But for now, back in Damascus, the search for the journalist continues.
There is safe houses that we need to search for Austin Tice in safe houses in Damascus or in Latakia, as well as we need to check more the hospital's record to see if there is any evidence on Austin.
Deborah Tice says the family looks forward to the day Austin will walk free. Cristina Caicedo-Smith, VOA News.
President Donald Trump has declared that a national emergency exists at the U.S.'s southern border and that he is sending more troops to help secure it. VOA continues.
1,500 American troops joining some 2,500 troops already at the southern border with Mexico.
President Trump is sending a very strong message to people around this world. If you are thinking about breaking the laws of the United States of America, you will be returned home, you will be arrested, you will be prosecuted. Do not come.
The administration says troops directed to the border will help law enforcement take complete control, enhancing detection of migrants and helping install physical barriers. And officials say more troops are expected in the coming weeks. While some of the troops are armed for self-defense, none will be arresting migrants crossing the border because U.S. law prohibits the military from law enforcement activities inside the country. But there are exceptions, such as the Insurrection Act, the president may invoke that might allow the military to perform arrests or searches and seizures inside U.S. territory to help stop what he has called a, quote, invasion.
Trump is not inventing this issue out of thin or whole cloth, but he is clearly willing to do much more in the way of tightening the border than others, especially his Democratic predecessors in the White House.
Additional troops are flying thousands of illegal immigrants detained by Customs and Border Patrol out of the country. A defense official tells VOA the first two flights occurred early Friday and landed in Guatemala. Carla Babb, VOA News, the Pentagon.
Among the plans that U.S. President Donald Trump laid out on his first day back in office was a directive for the United States to abandon its shift towards clean energy and increase oil production. VOA now looks at the challenges facing such policies as the world continues, that is, much of the world continues to embrace renewable energy.
Countering climate change was central to former President Joe Biden's administration. But under President Donald Trump, the United States is going in a different direction.
Today, I will also declare a national energy emergency. We will drill, baby, drill.
When a president declares a national emergency, he has more executive authority to get things done, including deregulating industries to drill for oil and gas. On Friday, Trump added a geopolitical factor by saying that lowering oil prices is the key to ending the war in Ukraine.
OPEC ought to get on the ball and they ought to drop the price of oil, and that war will stop right away.
Analysts are skeptical that Trump's demands and policies will significantly impact oil prices.
You have to think about things like oil supply being driven by international, demand and other things that are going to be quite separate from a lot of the different kinds of policies that President Trump may be thinking of that could, around the margins, affect oil and gas exploration and extraction.
Analysts say low prices would also hurt Trump donors, the American fossil fuel industry. Renewable energy advocates point out that U.S. oil and gas is already at peak production.
And so if this is an emergency,
Why aren't we looking at all available resources, particularly the ones that are demonstrating real value on the grid, right? Why aren't we using all tools in the toolbox?
Trump, who has repeatedly called climate change a hoax, wants to slam the brakes on efforts to boost U.S. electric vehicles by rolling back tax credits for EV purchases and manufacturing that Congress passed during Biden's term.
We will revoke the electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto industry and keeping my sacred pledge to our great American auto workers.
But he will need congressional approval for such a move. Analysts say it's counterproductive to Trump's own stated goals of competing with China, who is already the world's largest producer of EVs.
There's a consensus among the academia that EV is the way to go. EV is the way to address our environmental concerns. There's no turning back on the EV development.
Trump's Inauguration Day actions also included an order to withdraw the U.S. from international climate commitments.
The next item, sir, is a letter that will be transmitted to the United Nations explaining that we are withdrawing from the Paris Climate Treaty.
The U.S. is currently producing more oil and gas than any country at any time in history. Meanwhile, even as it keeps much of its fossil fuel production, China is the leading manufacturer of solar panels and wind turbines globally. It is also the planet's biggest climate polluter. Patsy Wirakuswara, VOA News, Washington.
That report brings us to the end of this edition. Before we go, however, another quick look at the headlines. Rwanda is set to host the 26th annual general meeting of police chiefs from Eastern African countries that are members of the Eastern Africa Police Chiefs Cooperation Organization. And President Donald Trump has declared that a national emergency exists at the United States southern border and that he is sending more troops to help secure it. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. I'll be seeing you soon again. Until then, goodbye.